What's up, everybody? Carolina Jackpot coming at you on October 13th, 2021. It is Wednesday evening. We got a full slate of SEC games this coming Saturday. 7 of them on tap. I'm going to pick them against the spread right now, rapid fire style. Here we go. Got Alabama going on the road, taking on Mississippi State. Alabama is laying 17 points on the road. I think that this line is short for what we're going to see on Saturday night. I would not want to be in Mike Leach's shoes. Nick Saban is going to have this Alabama team focused, hungry, and ready. The last 3 times since they lost a ball game, they have covered the spread easily afterwards. And let's just face it, making the college football playoff just got a little bit more difficult with that loss. A little bit more difficult, but not impossible. They're going to go out. They're going to rack up style points. They're going to beat the teams that they're supposed to beat convincingly. And I think you will see that happen this Saturday night in Starkville. The cowbells and all that stuff's not going to bother Alabama. You won't see all those mistakes, drop passes, blown coverages, missed tackles that you saw this past Saturday night, which is not indicative of a normal Alabama team. Give me the Crimson Tide to cover the spread against Mississippi State and get back to their winning and covering ways. Got Ole Miss going to Tennessee. Tennessee is catching 2.5 at home on Rocky Top. This is a very intriguing game for a lot of people. Looks like Tennessee has an offense. Scored 62 points 2 weeks ago against Missouri. 45 this past weekend against my South Carolina Gamecocks. Could have probably been more. But I really don't know if that is a product of that their offense is really good or that they played some piss-poor defenses. I think it's kind of a combination of both. Ole Miss, the road team, to me, is just a little bit more explosive than what Tennessee is. It's going to be a big, raucous crowd in Knoxville. I don't think that's going to bother Ole Miss. Matt Corral and the boys, Lane Kiffin, I think there's just a little bit too much depth there on the Ole Miss side of the ball for Tennessee. Tennessee, I do think will score some points in this game, and I expect this to be a competitive game, probably up until the start of the fourth quarter, and then I think the Ole Miss, who has superior depth, Tennessee only has 75 scholarship players. I think that Ole Miss will pull away from them and probably win this game by 10 to 14 points. So give me Ole Miss to cover against the Vols on Saturday night. Not really bringing them down to earth, but just, kind of pointing out this is what you need to work on a little bit. Kentucky going on the road, taking on Georgia. Kentucky is a 23-point underdog on the road in Sanford Stadium for the 3:30 matchup on Saturday afternoon. Look, Kentucky comes in at 6-0. Are they an ugly 6-0? Yes, meaning they've won some games. Really didn't have a lot of flash, glitz, and glamour to them. But Kentucky is good on both lines of scrimmage. I just think, though, that this is a bad matchup for them. I think they're going to have a hard time moving the ball against Georgia. What bothers me a little bit was that they only beat the Gamecocks by 6 points. And we have seen Kentucky have a penchant for turning the ball over. I don't know they've really done it much the past couple of weeks, but at one point they were -9 on turnovers. Chris Rodriguez was some sloppy ball carrying. Couldn't really hold on to the ball here. That's not going to cut it against Georgia here on the road. I don't think Kentucky is ready for Georgia, and I expect the Bulldogs to cover the spread here. I just question how Kentucky's going to score. I don't think they'll get up in double digits. They may score a touchdown on Georgia, but I think you're probably looking at something like a 38-7 type ball game, maybe a 41-10 type game. Whatever it is, give me the Georgia Bulldogs to cover against Kentucky in Athens. The public is really betting heavy on Kentucky here to cover the spread. Jackpot is going to go the opposite way of the public here. Florida is going on the road, taking on LSU. LSU is a 10.5-point underdog at home, and with very good reason. They played like garbage this year, losing to UCLA on the road as a favorite. Also lost at home against Auburn as a favorite, and then last week went to Kentucky and just absolutely got destroyed. Final score was 42-21. I think they were trailing the ball game like 38-7 or 35-7 at one point. Ed Orgeron's program is circling the drain, and I don't see them being able to put up a good performance Saturday night against Florida. Florida also going to be out here for a little bit of a revenge spot from last year. LSU kind of threw a little bit of a monkey wrench into Florida's bowl plans there towards the end of the season with the an upset win, which entirely was all Florida's fault that they won. But still, I think that Emory Jones and company is going to just be a little bit too much for LSU. Their two best players, their best offensive player in Keyshawn Butte and their best defensive player, Derek Stingley Jr., both out of this game. Stingley's out for the season, I do believe. I don't see LSU being able to cover that 10.5 points against Florida. I see them winning by a couple of touchdowns here. Give me Florida to cover this game. It's a noon game also in Baton Rouge, which I don't think the crowd's really going to be up for that one. In fact, I think that this will probably be the mildest crowd at a Florida LSU game in Death Valley that you've seen in a long, long time. Texas A&M goes on the road taking on Missouri. Missouri is catching 8.5 at home. The Aggies, after a disappointing loss to Arkansas 2 weeks ago, come out last week and pull off a huge upset at home, taking down the Alabama Crimson Tide 41-38. Quarterback Zach Calzada kind of came out of his shell and really delivered an outstanding performance there. So you got to figure, is this going to be a letdown spot for Texas A&M? It potentially could be. However, I don't think it is. I believe that A&M is going to dominate Missouri on both lines of scrimmage here. I know A&M's got a couple of capable running backs here. We also know Mizzou that is bad at stopping the run. They did fire their defensive line coach a couple of weeks ago. Still gave up like 34 points last week to a terrible North Texas team. Give me Texas A&M here. I lay the 8.5 points. I don't have any problem thinking that they're going to cover in Como on Saturday afternoon. Auburn goes on the road taking on Arkansas. Arkansas is laying 4.5 points at home. I think Arkansas is going to be all over Auburn in this game. I think they're just the better team defensively. Arkansas, pretty decent, really good along both lines of scrimmage there. And Auburn, Bo Nix, not playing at a really high level this year. He hasn't impressed me a lot, and he really normally does not impress on the road. Arkansas is going to be out for blood. Sam Pittman's going to have this team ready. They were screwed out of a win last year against Auburn. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go search Auburn, Arkansas 2020 on YouTube. You'll find out exactly why Sam Pittman and his crew will have some motivation to crush Auburn at home on Saturday afternoon. Give me the Hogs and lay them 4.5 points. Finally, South Carolina, my Gamecocks are at home against the Vanderbilt Commodores. The Gamecocks are laying 18.5 at home against Vanderbilt. Look, Vanderbilt's not a very good team, but my Gamecocks are not a very good team at this point either. Another Gamecocks podcaster slash YouTuber kind of chastised the fan base for, feeling doom and gloom because a lot of them were picking Vandy to cover the spread. We might win by 7, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and this one, and actually picked the Gamecocks too. He picked the Gamecocks to cover the spread. I'm not necessarily in that camp. Vanderbilt has lost both of their SEC games. Yes, 62-0 to Georgia and then 45-0 to Florida. So they haven't put up a point in the two SEC games. I guarantee you they're not getting shut out a third time in a row. South Carolina is just not that good. Vanderbilt did rush for about 250 yards earlier in the season in a loss to Stanford. But Stanford's given up a lot of rushing yardage to everybody. So I don't really know if that's what Vanderbilt done or what Stanford didn't do. But I do know that Vanderbilt has gotten a little bit better. They're able to move the football a little bit. They picked up their first win of the season. Second win of the season. not this past Saturday night, the Saturday night before, when they took down UConn there in the closing seconds of that game. Vanderbilt's going to come into this game fired up. They have lost to the Gamecocks like 12 times in a row, and they see this, I'm sure, as, hey, this is probably our only chance to get an SEC victory this season. I think Clark Lee will have that group ready. Their quarterback, Ken Seals, he's nothing spectacular, but then again, our play has not been spectacular either. How the Gamecocks will respond to the beatdown in Knoxville last week, I don't know. But for the second week in a row, I think the Gamecocks do not cover the spread. I think they do win this game. But hell, sometimes I question, can South Carolina even score 18.5 points? I don't always know that it's possible. So give me Vanderbilt here to cover the spread. I think South Carolina wins this ball game by 13, 14 points, but definitely not covering the 18.5 Saturday afternoon in Williams-Brice. Just not happening. All right, guys, that is my rapid-fire SEC picks against the spread for week number 7 of the college football season. Hope you all enjoyed that. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and make sure you watch the live show later on tonight. I'll see y'all then. Appreciate you. Peace, and I'm out. Go Gamecocks. Woo! Spurs up. My toes up, baby.